Adamu Gagdi. I represent Panshinkanke Kanam Federal Constituency of Plateau State. Mr. Speaker, for the first time, I'm finding it difficult to overcome my emotion and speak for a simple reason of this confession. When members move a motion of attacks in their constituencies, we support them, we understand with them, and I understood with you on the 14th of December. But it is on Sunday and today that I know the feelings of those members and how they felt about those attacks. Mr. Speaker, we are elected by people to represent them here with a specific mandate mentioned in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria before any other oversight responsibility could follow. And one of those functions donated to us and to government is the security of the life of the people we represent. In another locations of the Constitution, another mandate donated to us is to make laws. The Constitution did not say for constituency projects. It doesn't talk about anything, but it says we should make laws for peace. That was the first thing the Constitution donates to Parliament, for order and for good governance. Mr. Speaker, it begins to beat my imagination whether that function donated to us is really being practiced by all tiers of government. Mr. Speaker, before we do anything, the first responsibility is the security, is the life of the people, then the welfare of the people, then any other thing. Nigerians are being killed on a daily basis, Mr. Speaker. The four angles of Nigeria, nowhere is safe. Mr. Speaker, what is beating my imagination more, aside of the killing, is who is responsible. Not in times of the people that are committing those atrocities. Nigerian governments have come out in different occasions to say they know them. They name them terrorists. They call them bandits at some instance, Boko Haram in some region, and now terrorists. They have been declared terrorists. Where are they? It's not even the question. But who is responsible is the question. We have a president, Mr. Speaker. We have governors. We have National Assembly. We have senators and House of Reps put together. Who is responsible for the safety, for the security of lives and properties of the people of this country? Of course, without any fear of political misrepresentation, it is Mr. President. Mr. Speaker, we must ask ourselves a question, devoid of political issues. Insecurity issues will never be discussed correctly if you did not detach political affiliation to it. Is our president aware of what is happening to the people of this country? Is he holding the strategic operational commandants responsible for the failure of the protection of life and properties of the people of this country? Mr. Speaker, before people are killed, one of the operational commandants must be responsible. Who allowed that thing to happen? Who are the various security agencies that are supposed to protect the life of the people? Of course, the armed forces, the army, the air force, the police, the navy, call them. Mr. Speaker, we both vote money to these agencies every year, and we provide supplementary budget to these agencies. They cry of arms and ammunition. This hallowed chamber approved money to them. But we will be failing our constituents if we did not, as Parliament, as the representative of the people, hold somebody accountable. There must be someone somewhere that have neglected his responsibility of discharging his duties to the best of his ability. Either the president did not hold the services accountable for protecting the lives of the citizens of Nigeria, and the services commandants too do not hold their strategic commandants at the local level for not responding to security report, for not responding to distress call, and allow Nigerians to be killed like an animal. Mr. Speaker, this is unacceptable. It is not about election. It is not about winning election. It is not about political party ticket. It is about the sanctity and the importance of human life. Mr. Speaker, people are killed. If at the end of the day, we will ensure peace in Nigeria without returning to this hallowed chamber, if at the end of the day, we will speak for the people of this country without returning tomorrow to represent them for whatever political witch hunt, we must have satisfied the provision of the Constitution and the oath of office, including the oath of allegiance we all took, Mr. Speaker. We must rise to call a spade, and tell the government that this is unacceptable, and they must come out to hold somebody responsible in the failure of the discharge of his duties to the people of this country. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity in an emotional way to speak for the people of Panshinkanke Kanam Federal Constituency and to speak for your constituency who are being attacked on daily basis, who are displaced. Thank you for coming to the aid of the people of Nigeria and for giving a voice to the voiceless Nigerians. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Bamidele.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Bamidele Salam. I represent the fantastic people of Ede North, Ede South, Egbedo Rejibu Federal Constituency of Osun State. And Mr. Speaker, I want to commiserate with you and with the good people of Plateau State. I watched the massacre of innocent Nigerians on television yesterday night, and it was really, really very, very emotional, Mr. Speaker. It is so sad that we have come to a situation in this country where evil is perpetrated and no one is held accountable for the perpetration of the evil. Mr. Speaker, I didn't grow up in Plateau. I grew up in a part of the northern part of this country. But I used to know Plateau as a miniature of Nigeria, as a place where people from all ethnic groups, all religious persuasion, all cultural background have seen as a home where they all live together, they work together, and they prosper together. Mr. Speaker, unfortunately, things have turned upside down in the last almost 1 decade now. And we see a situation where to live in Nigeria is not just a privilege, but an unusual privilege, especially for the poor of our country. Now we are the privileged class. We move around with security convoy. We have our houses fenced round with security men everywhere we go. We have the apparatus of government protecting us. But like my brother duly said, Mr. Speaker, we are being paid to occupy this position of privilege by the sweat and the taxes of some people. And those are the average men and women of this country whose security is today not taken into consideration and factored into whatever government does at any level. One part of this motion that actually touched me, Mr. Speaker, is the reference to the fact that there were early warning signals, information given to security agencies about the plans by some terrorists and evil-minded people to attack innocent persons. And this information given by respected and responsible members of the public were not acted upon by the security agencies. Now the question is why? Is it that they feel that those information were not, important enough? Is it that they feel that there are some people behind this that they must not touch? We must go to the root of this matter. Why were those pieces of information given to the security agencies not acted upon? We have to have an insight into the workings in the mind of those we have charged with the responsibility of ensuring the safety of life and property in this country. And Mr. Speaker, I believe very strongly that until we rise up as a body, somebody made that suggestion a few weeks ago, it appears as if it was going overboard. If we have to shut down the business of lawmaking in this house and move to those places and sit as a committee of whole to investigate these things and invite those who are directly responsible to such meetings to tell us why they got information about impending attack and refuse to act on it. Most of those who come on the attack, Mr. Speaker, do not come in 1 or 2. At times they are 20, they are 30. How do they move into communities and escape in those communities without being detected, without being apprehended? This has to come to a stop, Mr. Speaker. And only the Parliament of the Federal Republic of Nigeria can lead that change, because it appears that there's an absence of government from the executive level, and we must hope to rise up to that responsibility. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Fatu. To my brother, somebody has to be held responsible, and you even mentioned the president. The president is responsible as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, but this is a system, there's inputs. We have to look at our structural problem, structural issues, in this country. There's no way things will be happening like this without the concept of the securities, no information. If somebody is involved, let the security handle those issues. But things are kept under the carpet. I don't know for what reason. My advice and my opinion on these security issues is that we, the National Assembly, as lawmakers, need to do more than we think we are doing. Because when it's appropriation period, we don't take things very serious. And these people will come and present their budgets and move on, approve money to them. There's no oversight. How do you expect us to checkmate them? It's business. They know there's no military coup, there's nothing. The only way they can make money is through this. How will they want the security issues to end up? I just came back yesterday from my constituency. No security is doing his job. You have to pay him. We just end up local government election. Nobody is willing to come out and protect the lives of the people. You have to give him money. Where are we heading to? When they see a rep member or a senator, money. I don't know what's happening in this country. Look, everybody needs to be involved in this thing, not only the president. I think, not because we're from the same constituency or I'm the only person he voted for, but this is a system. Whatever it's given to him is what he's going to work with. Yes, we should hold him responsible, but let's do the needful. We should question ourselves. Even with this hollow chamber, we should question ourselves. Are we doing the right thing? Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know, colleagues, we still have another motion similar to what Gagde has brought. And I will say without missing words that the early warning that was given, I brought this motion here, it was well debated. I defined the routes as identified by the citizens. And this route is simple. From Bauchi through Kashere axis to where this dastardly act happened, to my constituency, to Taraba, where those bandits coming from Zamfara, Katsina, and Niger have gotten root. I don't know what argument anybody can give to insulate the security agencies in terms of doing their duty to ensure that this thing does not happen. And I can tell you, out of concern, I have visited where I'm not supposed to go because I believe I have a responsibility as a citizen, as a leader, to go and make case and present, write letters informing these security agencies of what is going on in the area. To this moment, I say, in my own village alone, 32 houses, as of yesterday count, are taking IDPs. My primary school have been taken over. They have to now allocate some for people who are coming. I do not think there is anybody that can justify what is going on in this country. It's not about politics. It's not. I know anybody who now want to politicize this thing, I want to say is making a very huge mistake. The area that, one of the area in his own constituency that they kill about 37 is one of the hope we're expecting by the grace of God to benefit from Plateau State. Petroleum exploration is always being concluded in that place, and that is Kukawa. How now define? Do you want to kill the economy of the country, economy of the people? That in any area you find potentials, now you have insurgency coming up. We have seen the trend of what is going on. Zurak is an area that pre-colonial masters to colonial masters to date, they are still mining activities there and taking resources. One person alone in this floor of the house, I brought a motion, took over
100 billion worth of materials. And you now wonder whether, in true sense, we have passion for our country. Life of one person should matter to us, not the number. The number he quoted is not the correct number. We lost close to because the number you are counting was the one they did mass burial, not the ones they were picked from the forest. And because the people have to do the needful, they now have to go and organize themselves into vigilante. As of this morning, I played the tape to him. Leader Hadi, where the bandits now are now saying they will continue to cause havoc on the communities. I think, yes, I agree, we have to do our duty, but every day on this floor we raise one motion or the other. I wouldn't like to go on the path of saying we have to go to the street, but to hold the people accountable. And that's why I believe the committee headed by Flatter will do a lot. And I will give you one last. As an example of my own local community, even when Plateau was in crisis, these areas that today were experiencing this banditry never had crisis. They never had crisis. It was free. And it was safe haven for all manners of people. In my own local community that I'm mentioning, we had a soldier who was supposed to be in Zamfara, giving pass for consecutively 6 months, who was arrested giving uniforms to the bandits. To this moment, he has not been court-martialed. If his station is in Zamfara and is found in Zurak, and at the same time, I'm sorry to take my time to explain so that members will understand the complicity of the security agencies in this matter. Who was giving him that, and what is their own interest for you to give an officer or your personnel 6 months pass? Another one was arrested in Ampere from my same local community with ammunitions. To this moment, I don't know. Even when we raise the motion, it's sufficient for the security to act. But they are adamant. Among the people that were arrested at the local committee who were their own informants and collaborators, one was communicating with them from the detention camp, communicating to the community, and assuring people that were going to go out. And at the end of the day, he got out. When he got out, his wife was arrested with drugs. I don't know how to explain. And I think we just have to do the needful to ensure. It's not about the number of beatings we are having, but drastic action have to be taken against some officers. That's my own belief. Yes, Linda.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm Linda Chuba Ibiazo, representing Onisha Northern South Federal Constituency from Anambra. Mr. Speaker, let me first of all condole with the people of the two local governments and of course the people of Plateau for the terrorist act that took place in the two local governments. Mr. Speaker, this actually, when I was listening to Yusuf, what was going through my mind was like, this is the new normal in Nigeria. I don't think there's a week that'll pass that you don't find that terrorists have attacked one place or the other and lives lost. So it's actually become normal in Nigeria to actually hear this sort of thing. And the point is, what are we doing about it? The legislature, we make laws. That's our primary responsibility. And I don't think that the problem is lack of laws. Now the buck stops on the table of Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, because he's the head of the executive, and they execute. And the unfortunate thing, Mr. Speaker, is that our security personnel are really very well trained. So we're not lacking that. So I'm wondering, does it mean that they're not motivated? they're not very well equipped, that these terrorists have more equipment than them. So what is the problem? And we've had cases where we understand that information were passed to the security personnel, and still these terrorists overcome the ordinary Nigerian people. Mr. Speaker, this is a failed state. Nigeria right now is a failed state. What can we do? Nigeria is a failed state. You can get up and speak when you're given the opportunity, Honorable Hembe. It is a failed state. In a state where you cannot protect your citizens, it's a failed state, Mr. Speaker. And the prayers of Honorable Yusuf, unfortunately, it's only number 2 and number 5 prayers that I can actually see has semblance of being implemented. The second prayer talks about the humanitarian ministry doing something. Yes, I can understand the ministry coming to the aid of the people. Then the 5th prayer has to do with asking the police to have the mobile police people in that area. Those ones I can see happening. The other prayers, Mr. Speaker, are like the other prayers that have come up in this house and there's resolutions made and nothing has happened. Until we stop thinking that everything has political coloration, we're not going to get anywhere. Because we have very well-trained personnel, security personnel. Why is the terrorists? Why have they sort of like overcome the Nigerian security personnel? That is what we need to ask ourselves. Because all these prayers, unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, you just go down as one of the resolutions that we passed here. We passed several resolutions. And I can bet you, Mr. Speaker, one more week we are going to we are going to go on recess, but apart from that, in a week's time, you'll hear something like this again. Because we have failed to address the problem. We have to remove all political coloration and face these people and understand that we are at war. When you're dealing with terrorists, you have to understand that you're at war. And all your rules must be the rules that you engage in war. But if we are relaxing and feeling that we are all Nigerians, Mr. Speaker, we are going to be coming every week on the floor to talk about this. Thank you very much.
I felt like when my colleagues, Honorable Usman Bello Kumo is my name, I represent the good people of Akko Federal Constituency. I'm from Gombe State. Every day we start and deliberate on issues, particularly issues to do with security. We always ask what to do, who is to be blamed, who is responsible. I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker, my submissions today might be a little bit different. I believe the president of the country is responsible for every actions or inactions that happened in the land. Why? Because he took an oath that he is going to perform his responsibilities and duties without fear or favor. I respect him. I believe in him. I believe he is all and age enough to give this country the direction and the leadership required. But why I blame the president is, why will you believe in having monopoly of knowledge? Why will you continuously maintain one national security advisor over all these years of your government? And you can understand that the national security advisor provides a leadership to the security apparatus in the land. And as national security advisor, he is supposed to submit to the president an executive summary of what the security situation of the land is. And the president innocently will act on the advice of the national security advisor. So where you maintain somebody who cannot be able to see outside the box, or who believes in one particular tradition, I don't think we are going to get it correct. My submission is very simple. If the president means well to this country, and if we are really trying to look for a solution, he has to immediately sack the National Security Advisor. 2, he has to remove his Minister of Defense. Where you have the Minister of Defense who is old enough that he cannot even move to Kaduna when there is a train attack, how can that Minister of Defense coordinate the defense apparatus who ought to have been the head of the security agencies when they are doing their own professional meetings? This is my submission, and this is my belief, and this is my understanding. Thank you.
Blessing.
My name is Blessing Onyechonu, and I represent the good people of Otukpo Himini Federal Constituency. I am from Benue State. Mr. Speaker, the issue of security in this country is becoming very appalling, and we must rise up to the occasion. We are in a desperate situation, and this situation demands desperate action. I believe, in my own opinion, that the issue of security is a responsibility of us all, of each and every one of us. At this stage, it has gone beyond just government alone. Do you even know who your neighbors are? Everything we keep blaming the president will not come and tell you who your neighbor is. We should embark on massive awareness campaign, Operation Know Who Your Neighbor Is. We already know. Yes, it's the truth. We should begin to take it to our schools. 20 years ago, the issue of security became a problem in Nigeria. If we were teaching it in our schools, make it compulsory in every school. A child of 20 years is big enough to be married and even bear children. Let us begin to teach it in our schools, make it a curriculum, make it compulsory.
Honorable colleagues, please can we listen to our colleague in silence, please?
Day in, day out, we come to this chamber, hollow chamber, and begin to discuss the issue of security. And as Honorable Linda just said, it has become a new number. Are we going to accept it that way? What are we doing as a people to ensure that we bring this to an end? Let us, on our own, take the message back to our community. Our chiefs should begin to meet. Our chiefs should begin to meet. It's no longer about information alone. We have the information. We know where the problems are. We know that in the middle, north central, where I come from, it is farmer herders problem. We know that in the northeast, there's banditry, there's kidnapping. We know that there's militancy in the south. So what are we doing? Each area or locality has its own peculiarity. Now, on our own, we need to come together. Know your neighbor. If you have a visitor in your area, are you trying to tell me that you would not know that if you have new faces? We should alert the police immediately.
Thank you.
On that issue. Once you see a strange face. What we are facing in Nigeria, sir, Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable colleagues, I think they have succeeded in instilling fears into us, and that is the art of terrorism. Yes, they have instilled fears on each and every.
Many people want to contribute. Can you put so that you allow other people?
Mr.
I told
Speaker,
you we still have another motion on similar. And we have not started the order paper, gone into the order paper yet. I want to beg of you.
Okay.
Thank you.
In my submission, sir, I think that we know what the problems are, and we should come up with solutions. It is a desperate situation and demands desperate action. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you. many people want to speak, but want to believe that we cannot take all. I would beg that we put to somebody, the summary of all that we are doing. First is for the security to do their job, to act on intelligence, and work with the communities. And our committees too on securities, various committees must also live up to their own responsibility. I said this the last time, I still want to emphasize, because I believe we still have a lot to offer. I want to beg, I will take your amendment, I want to beg that we will always come here, and God forbid, to be talking about numbers. The last time it was Binungwari, over 150 people killed within 2 days. Today is Plateau State. Even within a peaceful community that we know, like I did mention, even during the last crisis of Plateau that took toll for over a decade, these communities never witnessed one crisis. And I said to you here that the communities provided information. The route for these bandits getting into our axis is from Gajen to Guri in Bauchi. Following this route, Yankari to the forest in our axis. And the consequences is so much. Let me say that if this thing happened, leadership that I would ask in the meeting, I didn't mention that if you allow these bandits and terrorists to have a toll there, it means that you are compromising your security from Wasei to Sambisa to Bakassi. And that is the truth. That is the truth of what is going on. And I want to believe that it's enough warning signal. We must do our oversight. Committees that have report must turn in reports. We are about to break now. We have set several actor committees, but there's no report for us to consider. How now do you blame? It is through this investigative hearing that we'll be able to come out with solutions to the matters. And that's why I want to beg that. Colleagues, let us remember, if we escape in this war, we are not going to escape hereafter. Accountability is there. God, in infinite mercy, has put judgment day for us to account for our actions. We live. And in the spirit of this month, for my Muslim brothers and Christians who have observed land and observed land, it's sufficient to have reflections on our actions so that we do the right thing. I beg of you that committees that have reports, please turn in your reports. Oversight must be taken in a different manner. Security committees, you must come back alive. It has affected all of us. And do the right thing. Track the money, send. I don't want to say my communication with other people. It's sad. May God help us. Can I put the question? Amendment? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ndudi Godwin Elmelu, and I represent the good people of Anyocho Federal Constituency. I'm from Delta State. I'm actually added. And my addition is to read thus, that the House do reaffirm the House earlier resolution of the House calling for the declaration of state of emergency in the security sector. I so move.
Seconder. Yes, sir. Akwaimo.
Back at Mekwika Federal Constituency from the vibrant state of Akwa Ibom. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the amendment as ably moved by the minority leader. I so second.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Against say nay. That's it. Amendment, Honorable Benny.
An ad hoc committee
on Kanam and Wase in order to forestall the rising banditry incidences in this axis particularly? Because I think we should be very, very clear.
We still have one motion doing the same job, possibly, about the arms and those found culpable with Honorable Flatter.
Mr. Speaker, I don't think we should mix it up because Kanam and Wase is a unique case. It's coming fresh into Plateau State.
No, it's not fresh.
It's connected.
It's not fresh.
Okay.
Even in that motion, references were made to Kanam Wase. I said all the routes that he has defined.
Okay.
In fact, we'll work together to find the final village because we all share the same border. And it may interest you to know that the areas that were attacked, where we have the massive killing, were hitherto under Bashad in Wase local government area. So it's the same community.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Amendment? Okay.
Thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker, my very respected colleagues. I remain Honorable Abia Musa Aga. I represent Bassa Just North Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Plateau State. I rise to add to the prayers as submitted by my brother, my colleague from Plateau State, that because Plateau in its entirety is under siege, and that instead of restricting the deployment of troops to the affected communities in Kanam and Wase, Bassa local government has been under siege, and that it should be added in that prayer. I saw submitted.
Seconder, Honorable Benny.
As moved by my colleague, Honorable Musa Agar from Bassa local government.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Against any? That's have it. Another amendment? Cross River.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleague, my name is Jude Ngaji. I represent Ogujayala Federal Constituency. Just to add a little bit to that, Mr. Speaker, is for all the military men and for all the services that are in the bush, for our sake, their lives should be insured. We need to also minimize in public, because I know the security agencies, these bandits and Boko Haram are even more informed than us. So, and also, Mr. Speaker, or lastly, what goes to the military, to the generals, and from there, where does it go to? So what does the man in the bush?
What is the amendment?
So the amendment is that we should ensure the lives of those people fighting, and then there should be better motivation to that, Mr. Speaker. I so move.
Any seconder? You know why you not have seconder, Honorable Jude? You do everything based on appropriation. Don't make resolutions, and we should not make resolutions that you know will not be respected. Thank you. I think, can you step it down? Since there is no seconder, it has collapsed, but I want to give you that honor. Don't bring politics.
Alec, are you not? Oh, okay. Mr. Speaker, the amendment is stepped down. So I can remain in the House. Thank you.
Thank you. Amendment step down. Colleagues, those in favor of the motion as amended, say aye. Against, say nay. That's have it. Honorable Jende.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, Honorable John Deere is my name. I am from Benue State. Boko Taka Federal Constituency. Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, unfortunately, the matter of urgent public importance that I have is similar to what we have just finished discussing. The difference is only in the numbers. I hereby move, Right Honorable Speaker, that I be given the opportunity to move this motion for the relevant sections of our rules be suspended for me to move this motion. I so move.
Seconder. Yes, sir.
I speak for the people of Makudi, Goma. And I'm also a co-sponsor of the motion that is being brought by John D. I rise this morning to second that the motion be allowed to go. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion that the matter is urgent and I will take it now, say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable John D, go ahead and present a motion.
Honorable Salami Sokoto, approach the Chief Whip. Incoming, approach the Chief Whip.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, as I said earlier, this is a motion that is similar to what we have just discussed. The difference is just in numbers. Honorable Speaker, the House notes that on Tuesday, the early hours of yesterday, suspected herdsmen stormed Tiotu village in Taka local government in my constituency and killed 12 persons. The House further notes that on the 11th, day before yesterday, in an adjoining village in Badwem is in Guma local government, a neighboring local government to my constituency, 7 persons were massacred at night. The House is worried that this is capable of escalating grave insecurity in the country because Tiotu, the village in question where 12 people were killed yesterday, is on a trunk A road, and overzealous youths could cause anything, including blocking major roads, which could result in anything. The House is further concerned that this matter has created fears among our constituents and it poses grave danger in many ways, which could include negative reactions from our constituents. I am very brief, and my prayers
Dangaladima, please.
And that of
Honorable colleagues, please, can you people listen to our colleague inside?
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my prayers are that all security agencies be directed to conduct proper investigations. To mount strategic checkpoints in all flashpoints to stem the escalation. The second prayer is that NAME might be directed to quickly move in to supply items to these two communities of Mbadwem and Tiotu, whose inhabitants are on the run and their homes being destroyed. The third and last prayer, Your Excellency, is that a minute silence be observed in honor of the many deceased. Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, I so move.
Seconder. Hembe. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Herman Hembe. I rise to second the motion as moved by the Right Honorable John D. I so second.
John Day, you want to throw more light or you allow other colleagues to contribute? Yeah, co-sponsors should be the one to throw light. So that we can manage our time. It's already getting to 1.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Benjamin Bem Mzondu. Mr. Speaker, the issue of insecurity in Benue is no longer news. Again, Benue bleeds, and the life of innocent Nigerians is again running the soil of Benue that is known to be the agricultural hub of Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, this coincidence is becoming one many coincidence. In every raining season, our people are put to flight by bandits, terrorists, and herdsmen that are the militia arms, killing our people, making sure that fear, which is the major instrument used by terrorists, is put in the heart of people. And as we speak, yesterday, mass burial was conducted in my own federal constituency. Today, Taka is next. Only God knows which local government or which community will be attacked after today. Benue's name has been mentioned on this floor time without number. What again does Benue need to do? Is Benue not part of this confederation? We belong here. Why must we be chased out of our lands? Benue people are known to farm. As we speak, my people cannot go to farm. Hunger crisis is on the way. What again do we need to do? My governor has always been crying. The legislators from Benue have always been crying. Our senators are crying. Everybody in Benue is crying. What more does Benue need to do? We need to survive. The executive headed by Mr. President must know that Benue, our lives matter. Let the lives of Benue people be taken seriously. Every month, every week, we come here and we cry. And today again, Benue is bleeding. From Sokoto to Lagos, the land is bleeding. From Zamfara to Akwa Ibom, the land is bleeding. What more can we do? If the government has failed in providing for security of lives, they should call for help. We are in a situation where we need help. And one of the ways they can help us citizens is to resign and down tools. We must rise. Our people are being killed. Even the lives of animals is now worth more than the life of a citizen. If you want to get a neighbor's chicken, he will ask you, why are you going after my chicken? But for Nigerian lives, nobody queries. Nobody asks. Every day, people are slaughtered. People are butchered. People are chased out of their homes. What more do we need to do before this government will step up? There needs to be a game change. We can't be doing the same thing and expect a different result. The approach must change. Mr. Speaker, I beg you.
Thank you.
Let Benue no longer plead again.
Thank you.
Let our lands be safe.
Thank
Let
you.
our people be safe.
Yes,
Thank you.
Honorable Khadija.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Khadija Bukar Abba Ibrahim. I represent Damaturu, Termua, Gujiba Gulani Federal Constituency of Yobe State. Mr. Speaker, I've listened very carefully to all the arguments this morning and all the contributions as to the insecurity of our dear nation. I can testify that since 2009, when Boko Haram started the insurgency in the northeastern part of Nigeria, we have seen no peace. The situation has escalated to so many other parts of the country, and all Nigerians weep and cry as to why they are not safe. After all, their lives and properties are in the hands of the government of the day. Now, what I want to say is that we cannot castigate just the president on the failure of insecurity in this country. He has delegated certain people to look after security in this country. Now, if these people are not actually up to the task, then we have to call for some other people to come and look after the security in the nation. After all, we're all part and parcel of this country, and whatever happens in this country, we must ask on how this country will move forward. We should not play the blame game now. It is a bit late in the day. We should put all our hands on deck to ensure that Nigeria moves forward and that security is installed once again. So I implore on all our members to please stay calm and try as much as possible to offer enough prayers to our nation, because what is lacking absolutely is prayers to this nation. I think both the Muslim and Christians should please vow, fast and pray for the security of our nation. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity.
Whip, Deputy Whip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for yielding this floor to me. I am Kiruka Oyejocha. I represent the good people of Ikuwato, Umunochi. I am from Abia State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, first and foremost, I have to commiserate with the families of Nigerians that have been killed over this past year. And it's very sad, and very sad indeed. I've listened to my colleagues, and I believe that, yes, this is time to call for accountability. And anybody that have been given responsibility should be responsible to those targets and those tasks. Mr. Speaker, I do not want to use several words, but I want to say that our nation is under siege. Our nation is under siege. Our nation is under siege. Whether we accept it or not, that's a fact. We are talking about Plateau State. After that, we spoke about Benue. We are speaking about Imo State, Abia State, Ebonyi State, Anambra State, where non-state actors are burning down police stations and killing human beings. Where is left? The question is where is left. The situation we are in today is that we do not know the next place. We do not know the next state. We do not know the next community. Neither do we know the next constituency. The way it is that we just wait and let it happen. And it keeps happening, and nothing is being done. And I also have to restate here that no matter what we do, no matter what we say, no matter how much we talk, that action speaks louder than words. Nigerians want to wake up and be assured that when they go to their to travel with rail, that the rail will not be bombed. Nigerians want to be reassured that when they travel by road, that they will arrive safely. Today, the roads are not safe, the train stations are not safe, the airports are not safe. Nowhere is safe. Even your house is not safe. How do we reconcile that after giving information to certain people whose responsibility is to nip it on the bud, and they don't do that. So it's called for action. Nobody's blaming anybody, because if Mr. President cannot be everywhere at the same time, but people who are saddled with responsibility should be able to be accountable to the positions that are occupied. We must live up to the expectation of our positions. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I would not have more time, but I also say that as we speak today, we should remember that Chibok girls are still in captivity, that many students are still in captivity, that the people who were kidnapped during the bomb station in Kaduna State, they are still in captivity. And people are calling that, oh, government should do something within 48 hours, within 24 hours. Where does that lead us? I believe that I also agree that it's time to call for a state of emergency. It's time to think outside the box. It's time to do something now, and not to postpone it anymore. Otherwise, we will not have anything left, because nobody's paid. The generals are not paid. They are kidnapping them when they travel. The military men are not paid. They are killing our men every day, no matter how. Even when they kill the men that have gone even to protect us. So that means that the situation is bad enough for us to wake up from our slumber and do something needful and very urgent.
Thank you.
I so submit.
Cross River, come this way. Can we restrict ourselves to 2 minutes maximum so that we'll be able to take it?
Mr. Speaker, my name is Jude Ngaji, Ugoja Ayala, Federal Constituency, Cross River State. Mr. Speaker, I'll be so glad if we recognize what is going on and know what is going on in the country. Abuja is being surrounded. Abuja is being surrounded. Niger State, Kaduna State, Nasarawa State, Kogi State, all of these states, we are the center, Abuja. So it is important we take note of our own movement, because security starts from you, it starts from me. That's why people go to bed and they lock their doors. That's why people park vehicles and they lock the vehicles. And I know that year in, year out, Mr. Speaker, these agencies come to this house to present budgets. It is also important to call those agencies, in fact, the service chief, to come back to this same house to account for what they have done with the budget that is given to them. Because if we do that, we'll also be able to take out some messages, and we are there too, we'll be able to tell them that indeed what they are presenting to us is not totally correct, and we can also advise how to go about it. So, Mr. Speaker, as we vote for security and service chiefs, let the service chief also make to report to this house monthly to what extent they have gone in this security. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have somebody to take up my motion, please, Mr. Speaker. You tell me.
Yes, Hebe. Then Udin will cap with, yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Herman Hembe. I represent Konshisha Vanika Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Benue State. Mr. Speaker, I want to start by lending my voice in condemning in its totality the violence that was meted on people in Benue State around the Tiotu area, where I understand 12 lives were lost, killed by what Nigerians have used to terming as either ungun men or unknown gunmen, whichever way you want to put it. This scourge of killings have taken over our polity and have reduced the value for life. These days, it seems as if the loss of 1 life, 2 lives, 5 lives does not make news. It is the volume of people who die that have continued to make news in recent times. I condemn it totally. In condemning it, I also want to say that it is interesting that once again, as we approach an election year, these crises have begun to rear their ugly head. True, I understand that there are crises between herders, farmers, and all kinds of community issues that affect us, including banditry and terrorism across the country. But today, with the political situation in Nigeria building up to the 2023 elections, I am worried that some element of politics may be playing into this scenario. We experienced this situation in 2015 as we prepared for transition at the 2015 elections. Today, too, this situation is beginning to show itself. So it is going to be difficult as we move on to distinguish between what is a communal clash, what is the action of a bandit, what constitute actions of terrorists, and what constitute actions of politicians who seek to gain power by whatever means. The area, Mr. Speaker, where people were killed, of course I've not been there yet, but if I know the area properly, is in the middle of Tivland. And we are saying here that unknown men or unknown gunmen moved deep into Tivland and killed people. And we are sometimes in a rush to identify people as the culprits. While I call on the security agencies to do their duty, I also want to bring to their notice the need to pay attention to political actors in our land who, if we are not careful, will use these situations to cash in for their political benefits. That is my contribution, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. John Day Samson, whilst His Excellency in waiting was making his presentation, did you listen to him attentively? Were you listening to him attentively? Thank you. With him. So, future assured.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My name is Engineer Muhammad Ali Wudil. I represent Wudil Garko Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Kano State.
They are saying that you should stand up.
Mr. Speaker,
Within.
these two motions.
They said they should stand up.
Mr. Speaker, today is not time for any joke. Mr. Speaker, today is a, like you know, for over 4 years, we have resolutions.
You either go back to your seat or you resign your position. Go back to your seat or you resign your position.
Mr. Speaker, I said today is not a day for joke. Mr. Speaker, today is a day for serious business of this National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, like I've said, ordinary Nigerian is blaming all of us. When you say government, there are governments, we in the National Assembly, whether PDP or APC, you are part of the government. Judiciary is part of the government. Executive are also government. So ordinary Nigerians will look at National Assembly and say all of us are always after our welfare, not after the welfare of ordinary Nigerians. That's ordinary Nigerian. But we're here on blame game. So let's stop the blame game, Mr. Speaker. Let's look at this issue critically. If it is possible, Mr. Speaker, let's even shut down the National Assembly and look at these issues that we are getting motions, we are doing resolution, nothing is happening. Mr. Speaker, even if it is our budget, let's sit down with the executive, everybody in this country who matters, to look at our budget. Is it that we don't have the arms to fight the terrorists, the bandits, whoever? Is it the arms? If it's the arms, even if it is some of our infrastructure projects, we stop them and look at security. Even if it is our welfare, Mr. Speaker, let's keep it aside and look at the security and bring out something that will protect the lives of Nigerians. Mr. Speaker, like I'm saying, if you look at the security, most of the complaints are with the high-ranking personnel of the security, but ordinary, poor, other ranks, some of them are on the field. They are killed every day as they are killing others. Mr. Speaker, so let's look at it holistically. If it is a senior or the high-ranking personnel in the military, police, and other security agencies, let's deal with it squarely. Let's know what to do. Even if to say we are to retire all the high-ranking, so that
Honorable colleagues, minority leader.
I don't want to be a woman.
Mr. Speaker, ordinary other rank of all these security agencies.
Colleagues, listen to Honorable Woodil in silence, please. Woodil is on the floor.
Are also killed like other Nigerians. I cannot know the count of police officers, army officers who are killed in the field. So, Mr. Speaker, it is everybody's business, either in the legislature, either in the security, either in the executive. So, what is the solution? What do we do as a house or as National Assembly to surmount all these motions, all these resolutions we are doing? Is no more time for motion, no more time for what do we do? Like I said, Mr. Speaker, even if we are to close down and look at these issues by its own merits and know how to handle it. Mr. Speaker, if you look at it, Mr. Speaker, we have committees on all these.
Tract Honorable Woodil because he has the floor and has protection of the Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, like I said, no need for blame game. Let's look at the situation on ground and do the needful as soon as possible. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, sir. Lastly, yes, we'll take the amendment. Salami.
Honorable Speaker, my colleagues, I'm Dr. Abdullah Balarbe Salami, member representing Gwadaba Lela. I rise to give my own contribution toward this motion, heavily moved by my colleague, Honorable John D. Honorable Speaker, since the beginning of this banditry and this kidnapping and other insecurity that we are suffering today, since the beginning, a lot of motion has been brought to this house, and we have been deliberating almost every day on this security. And when we look into the results, we find nothing, because the thing is escalating everywhere. Before it was only Maiduguri. It come to gradually, now it has covered the whole nation. And based on the security challenges we are having, this house do approve a lot of money for the security agencies. As said by engineer, Honorable Jaha has mentioned just part of what was approved and given to the security agencies. Fortunately, last year budget was executed almost 100%. And in that budget, they requested for all they need for them to be able to tackle the security situation, but all in vain, Mr. Speaker. Just last year, I think we are given approval to make use of the flights, fighting jets, that to Kano, to use it, where we declare the bandit as terrorists. And the United Nations agreed that this Boko Haram and these bandits are terrorists. They should be dealt with same way the bandits, the terrorists are being dealt worldwide. So we have given money, and this money is our money, it's taxpayer money. We bought this fighting jet. But Mr. Speaker, I have never had, especially in the Northwest, where this, the military or the Air Force used this to chase these bandits. And Mr. Speaker, the way these bandits are moving, even if to say those 5% of the money given to the security institutions were given to individuals to acquire weapons, they will be able to protect themselves. But Mr. Speaker, bandits will attack a village or a town. We use phone.
Honorable colleagues from Benue, you know that your motion is on the floor, and TJ Sergis. Education. Comrade, former comrade.
I try and summarize
Your Excellency,
submission.
The reachable only are the people that do not have anything to address the problem. You reach the checkpoint, military at the checkpoint, they complain that they say they have only one vehicle, and that vehicle they don't have foil. Or you reach the DPO, he say his vehicle is collapsed. He don't have anything. When you try to reach the state, even state level, you cannot reach them. Talk less of the headquarters. So please, Honorable Speaker, what I am suggesting, Honorable Speaker, what I am suggesting, one, let us invite the Chief of Air Force, the Air Force. What are they using? What are they using the money we use to purchase all they need for the fighting jet, especially this Tucano? Have we purchased this Tucano just to show it as a show in the country, or we bought it to use it and fight the insurgency and the banditry? Also, Ministry of Communication, Honorable Speaker, Ministry of Communication now, if an important...
Chairman of Operation.
Mr. Speaker, if somebody was attacked in his house and his phone is being stolen, they will know how to trace and get the person who stole that phone and take him to wherever they want to take him to. Why can't they use the same ministry? Why the same ministry cannot, anytime somebody was kidnapped, anytime the bandit attacked, when they attack, especially if they kidnap somebody, they use phone to call, they use phone to bargain. Why can't the Ministry of Communication block each number that call, bargaining or claiming or requesting for anything, for all use the number to negotiate with the family of the victims? But they allow the victims, they allow the banditry to continue using number, calling, communicating, bargaining, and the Ministry of Communication has no role to play. They don't do anything. They don't do anything. Why can't them immediately when somebody was kidnapped, they block his line first? And any number they used to call the family, they block that number. They continue calling, they continue blocking. When they have no means of communicating to the family, there is no way that they can claim for themselves. At the end of the day, they must release somebody because they may not have any means of communicating to anybody. And this flight, this fighting jet we bought, let them please, Your Excellency, Honorable Speaker, sir, please let them come and explain to us what is the way they provide for them to be reached by anybody when there is problem at anywhere in this country. No means of reaching them. All do we spend to buy this Tucano, we spend it go in vain, useless, because they don't use it, and we have no benefit for that Tucano to tackle our problems. Please let them explain to us.
Thank you, Honorable.
What way have they provided where the Nigerians can reach them and tell them this is the problem? Somebody take 500 cows. Somebody move in with 100 motorcycles. Even the dust they raise, you can trace them by your mere eye. Talk about somebody who was given
thank you.
To go. Mr. Speaker, please let us invite the Air Force. Let us invite the Ministry of Communication.
Thank you, Honorable Salami.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Just to clarify, I think we also, as we are doing our best, we should appreciate agencies that are doing also working assiduously for the country. I know very sure that communications from the various services, MTN, Airtel, were cut off within last week. All those who have not yet done their name, yes, if not all, I believe a substantial percentage. No, I'm begging so that we now understand. And I also appreciate and appeal to SERAP, because I watch on television, SERAP now, what would I say, trying to go against what is going on. It is not in our own interest. We should support all agencies of government in their own effort towards solving this insecurity. One other means of communication that we know that they could be tracked is only when you have your SIM registered and a proper identification. We want to encourage the implementing agencies to ensure compliance and continuation of what they are doing. And I will beg members not to come to the floor again with any motion for extension of time. That should not happen. Thank you very much. Your amendment, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ndudi Godwin Elmelu, and I represent the good people of Anocho Shimilifera constituency. I'm from Delta State. I'm actually adding, and the addition is to the effect that the House called on federal government, that federal government should, as a matter of urgency, evoke the provision of Section 83, subsection 1, as it relates to contingency fund, to enable the government employ the mercenaries to quell this insurgency that is ravaging our country. I so move.
Seconder, Honorable Kiruka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Kiruka Onyejoch. I represent the good people of Isukwatu Muno, Federal Constituency. I'm from Abia State.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Further amendment?
Thank you, Your Excellency, our Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I am Honorable Dr. Ajibola Muraina. I represent Barakwa Central, Barakwa North Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I'm from Oyo State. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I have two amendments to make. Before making these amendments, I want to lay some foundations in parentheses. Mr. Speaker, I agree with Your Excellency that our various committees should, as a matter of urgency, turn in their reports in respect of all the investigations they are doing. But I want to say, sir, that as a House and as a Parliament, we have always robustly discussed and taken actions on security matters. I recall, sir, that this Honorable House set up a security summit. We had a security summit. We exhaustively discussed all security issues and matters. And then we passed some resolutions. These resolutions were brought to the floor of this Parliament and they were approved. I want to believe that they have been sent to the presidency. If they have, maybe we should do a reminder to them. And that leads to my first amendment, which is that the president should urgently, we urge the president to immediately implement the resolutions of the security summit organized by the House last year, which resolutions have been passed to the presidency long ago. That's my first amendment.
Seconder to the amendment. Seconder. Honorable Solomon Engineer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My very distinguished colleagues, Engineer Solomon Maren is my name, FNSC, and I represent the good people of Mangu Bokos Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Plateau State. I rise to second the amendment ably moved by my colleague. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it.
We are in a desperate situation, sir, and then we must take desperate actions. Guns are flying around. Some of them don't even have license. Some of them have license.
Move the amendment.
Yes, we are at a stage now. I want to humbly move that we approve or add to the resolution that all those who are bearing guns that have no licenses should turn in their guns to the nearest police station. Otherwise, they should be arrested. 2, those who are bearing guns even with license, let them turn it in, and then at a renewal, they may take it back. Otherwise, the way we are going in this country now, what is causing all this problem is these guns that some people are that they are bearing all about. And they are dealing with people who are not bearing any guns. And the security situation is such that unless they take them up and try there is a directive that the guns should be
Morano, you are one of the most experienced members of this parliament.
Yes.
So I believe when they are moving an amendment, there is a difference between amendment and debate. But I still want to guide the House.
I'm not debating, sir.
You are debating.
My amendment, sir, simply is that we urge the Inspector General of Police to direct that his men should arrest anybody bearing guns without license, wherever they are found, because they are the ones using these guns to cause confusion for us. So we should give a directive to that.
I don't know where in this country you have seen somebody policing a person with a gun that he has not arrested, that will have to come through resolution to urge that one. I believe the laws that are there are meant for them to implement. We are doing that. It's like we're even backing certain liabilities within the system. As far as I'm concerned, anybody, no matter how highly placed he is, if he has a gun that is unlicensed, he should face the consequences.
Your Excellency, they are all over.
Thank you. Seconder.
Those people who attack people in the plateau and other places.
Seconder to the amendment.
There are people who are having guns.
Allow us to proceed.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Seconder to the amendment. Yes, Honorable Aga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Avia Musa Aga, member representing the good people of Bassa North Federal Constituency. I rise to second the motion for amendment as ably moved by my colleague. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
In favor of the amendment, say aye. Against say nay. Those in favor of the amendment, say aye. Against say nay. The nays have it. Yes, sir. I will come to you. Be patient.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, my name again is Herman Hembe, Constitutional Federal Constituency. I'm from Plenary. Mr. Speaker, I want to just make an amendment to the existing amendment as moved by the minority leader. I was trying to call attention to it before it was voted on. The word insurgency means an uprising against the state, meaning that people have gathered to revolt against the king or the president. That is not what is happening in Nigeria. We have a situation of terrorism and banditry. So I just suggest that he change the word insurgency to banditry or terrorism or whatever he chooses, and remove and delete the term insurgency. That is my suggestion, my point.
Thank you. And I thought he has also captured, except that it was not in the verbatim report, but he have taken care of that correction. Thank you. Yes, sir.
henceforth that the Ministry of Communication, as a matter of urgency, should immediately block all lines used by the bandit to communicate to the family of the victims. Other than the line of the victim that they use, or their own line. Any line used by the bandits when they kidnap somebody, that line should immediately be blocked. If they use 100 lines to call, 100 times those lines will be blocked immediately. So there will be no way for them to continue communicating or bargaining with the members of the family. That is my own amendment.
Secondary to the amendment. So, Salami? Okay, thank you. Me on.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I'm Honorable Saidu Yusuf Miga. I represent Jahun Miga Federal Constituency. I am from Jigawa State. I rise to second the amendment ably moved by Honorable Salami. I so second.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. No, it's an amendment. There is no debate for an amendment. Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Against say nay. Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. Those in favor of the motion as amended say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. Well, let me be honest with you. If you say block, we have passed the amendment, and at times we are emotional. If you continuously block their line, you should not block the line, but you should track them. If you block the lines, how do you now? What would I do? I'm here to preside. Well, it has passed, so it's for the implementers to digest the resolution. Colleagues, can we rise for 1 minute silence in respect of those we lost in the motion so brought before the floor of the House? Let us pray. Let us pray. May their gentle soul rest in perfect peace. Thank you. Respected colleagues, the first business of the day is presentation of 15 bills. I now invite the clerk to read their short titles.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill 2022, first reading. National Institute of Construction Technology and Management, Mbamba, Adamawa State Establishment Bill 2022, first reading. Nigerian Diaspora Intervention Trust Fund Establishment Bill 2022, first reading. Dangerous Drugs Act Amendment Bill 2022, first reading. Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act Amendment Bill 2022, first reading. Institute of Inventory and Industrial Technology, Sapele, Delta State Establishment Bill 2022, first reading. Federal College of Nursing and Midwifery, Bole, Adamawa State Establishment Bill 2022, first reading. Federal College of Fisheries and Aquatic Studies, Yolde, Pate, Adamawa State Establishment Bill 2022, first reading. School of Mines and Geological Studies, Sangeri, Adamawa State Establishment Bill 2022, first reading. National Ear Care Center, Jambu to Adamawa State Establishment Bill 2022, first reading. Federal College of Optometry, Ebu, Oweri, Establishment Bill 2022, first reading. Institute of Physician Associates of Nigeria Bill 2022, first reading. Tertiary Education Trust Fund Act Amendment Bill 2022, first reading. National Agricultural Land Development Authority Act Repeal and Enactment Bill 2022, first reading. Federal College of Education Technical, Ajegile, Ogun State, Establishment Bill 2022, first reading.
Respected colleagues, the second business of the day is presentation of two reports of the Committee on Governmental Affairs, standing now on Akin Alabi. Honorable Alabi is invited to present the reports.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I'm Honorable Akin Alabi. I represent the good people of Egbeda Naira Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Oyo State. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House do receive the report on the Committee on Governmental Affairs on a bill for an act to repeal the National Lottery Act of 2005 and the National Lottery Act 2017 and enact the National Gaming Bill to regulate the operation and business of gaming in Nigeria and enhance revenue generation for the government of the Federation to complement the funding gap of the Commission and other related matters. And also, I move that the House do receive the report on the Committee on Governmental Affairs on a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Service Compact Management Agency, Servicom, for the effective management, execution, and enforcement of service compact with citizens, setting, control, implementation, and enforcement of service charter and standards, the identification and facilitation of resolution of service failures, and enhancement of citizen service rights and responsibilities in Nigeria and for related matters. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder, the only Shetima on the floor. The only authentic Shetima, there is Shetima Mburgu. Okay.
Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable colleagues, I remain Lawan Shetima Ali, representing Bursari Gaidami Unusari Federal Constituency. I'm from Yobe State, sir. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleagues. I so second, sir.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against any, let's have it. Honorable Labi, go ahead and lay a report. Respected colleagues, the first order of the day is commencement debate on general principle review for an act to amend the legal education consolidation etc. by the establishment of campuses for Nigerian Law School and police matters standing in the name of the House Leader. All members recall the bill was read the first time, was transmitted from the Senate, seeking concurrence of the House, and read the first time on Thursday, 7th April 2022. I now invite the leader to move that the bill be read the second time.
Mike, please. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I am Comrade Peter Ohionzoje Apatisi, MNI. Mr. Speaker, I represent the great people of Akoko Edo Federal Constituency, and I am from Edo State. I move that the bill for an act to amend the legal education consolidated ETC by establishing the campuses for Nigerian Law School and for related matters, HB 1954, from Senate be read the second time. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Seconder Chiwip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues. I am Kiruka Onyejocha. I represent the good people of Sukwatu Federal Constituency.
Respected colleagues, this is a very straightforward bill for the purpose of increasing the number of institutions for legal studies, that's law schools, across the geopolitical zones. So I now put the question. Those in favor that the bill be read second time say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title for the bill.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. A bill for an act to amend the legal education consolidation etc. by establishing the campuses for Nigerian Law School and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to Committee of the Whole. Respected colleagues, the second order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Chartered Quality Institute of Nigeria, charged with the responsibility of determining standards of knowledge and skills to be attained by persons seeking to become chartered quality practitioners and for related matters, standing in the Honorable Idun Olaruwaju Oladapo. All members will recall the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 19 March 2021, and now invite Honorable Oladapo to move that the bill be read the second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Respected colleagues, I remain Representative Edwin Olariwaju, representing all the people of Abeokuta South Federal Constituency. I am from Ogun State. I rise to move that a bill for an act to provide the establishment of Chartered Quality Institute of Nigeria, charged with the responsibility of determining the standards of knowledge and skills to be attained by persons seeking to become chartered quality practitioners and for related matters be read the second time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable, is it the AA that is a title or? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Highly respected colleagues. My name is Rep. Otumba Adewumi Oriyomi Ononuga. I represent the fabulously united people of Ikene, Shagamu, Remo North. I am from Ogun State, and I stand to second the motion that the bill by Honorable Lanre Edun be read a second time. I so support.
Respected colleagues, Alabi, do you want me to put the question or you want to throw more light? Okay. That I should put the question. Those in favor that the bill be read second time say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. Clerk is invited to read the title of the bill.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. A bill for an act to provide for establishment of Chartered Quality Institute of Nigeria, charged with the responsibility of determining the standards of knowledge and skills to be attained by persons seeking to become chartered quality practitioners and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to Committee on Commerce. Respected colleagues, the third order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principle of bill for an act to install patriotism and nationalism among public officials and employees who shall promote the preferential use of Nigerian garments, adopt measures that will help Nigerian textile industry competitive and generate wider employment and greater benefits to the country. And following matter standing in the name of Insiak Ekong, honorable members recall the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 30th November 2021. Now I invite Ekong to move that the bill be read the second time. Ekong not on the floor.
Yeah, honorable colleagues, it seems honorable Nsikak Ekong is not on the floor. I move that the second reading of the bill be stepped down by the leave of the House. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Second reading of the bill stepped down by the leave of the House. Respected colleagues, the fourth order of the day is commencement of debate on general principle of bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal Medical Center, Gorzo, Kano State, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Musa Umar Garu. All members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 24th March 2021. Now I invite Honorable Garu to move that the bill be read the second time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My distinguished colleagues, my name is Honorable Musa Umar Galu, member representing Gorzakabo Federal Constituency. I'm from Kano State. I rise to move for a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal Medical Center Gorzo, Kano State, and for related matters, HB 1927. I so move.
Sorry. Yes, sir. No. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Respected colleagues, my name is Abdul Salam Gambo Mubarak. I represent Baligasol Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Taraba State. Mr. Speaker, I stand to second a motion moved by my respected colleague. I so second.
When I recognize that Taraba, you didn't want to speak. You want to come back home? Honorable Gambo, you want to come back home? Those in favor of that the bill be read second and say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. Don't fear to say yes. Plateau is blessed. We have loaned out many people to different parts of the country, starting from the minority leader to other places, are all products of Plateau State. Thank you. We loan you to Delta State. We loan you to Delta State. Thank you. Clerks invited long title for the bill.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act provide for establishment of Federal Medical Center, Gorzo, Kano State, and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to Committee on Health Institutions. John Deere, I can count many members here who have their roots from Plateau State. That I know. And by implication, you are a product too. Thank you. And don't agree with the chair. Respected colleagues, the fifth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to establish National Football Academy. Ahiazu, Mbase, Imo State, and for later matters standing in the name of Honorable Emeka Martins Chinedu. All members recall the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 1st February 2022. I now invite Honorable Chinedu to move that the bill be read the second time.
Mr. Speaker.
It's on the floor.
Okay. I was looking at your seat. You are not on your seat.
You know, they are lacking in composition, so they have to now add some. Thank you. Goni, you can remain where you are because we are negotiating, I believe. So don't worry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I remain Honorable Emeka Chinedu. I represent the good people of Ahiazum, the federal constituency. I'm from Imo State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the bill for an act to establish the National Football Academy, Ahiazum, Imo State, and for related matters, HB 1837 be read the second time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder. Yes. Oh, you don't want the other ones, only man's leader. Honorable Jende.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, Dr. John J. is my name. Boko Taka Federal Constituency of Benue State. I rise to second the second reading of this bill because of its enormous importance. I so second.
Thank you. Respected colleagues, those in favor that the bill be read the second time, say aye. Against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clerks is invited to read long title for the bill.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. A bill for an act to establish National Football Academy, Ahiazu, Mbaise, Imo State, and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to Committee on Sports. Respected colleagues, the sixth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal Medical Center, Bali, Taraba State, and following matters standing on Abdul Salam Gambo Mubarak. All members recall the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 22nd February 2022, and I invite Honorable Mubarak to move that the bill be read the second time. Yeah, request, Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues. My name is Abdul Salam Gambo Mubarak. I represent Baligasol Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Taraba State. Mr. Speaker, I stand to move for a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal Medical Center Bali to be heard for the second reading. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder. Sadona. Constituency. Sorry, Honorable from Adama.
Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues, my name is Jafar Rival. I represent Yola, not Yola, South Gire Federal Constituency and from Adamawa State. I stand to second the motion ably moved by my colleague, Honorable Gambo Mubarak. I so second.
Colleagues, this is an establishment bill, straightforward. Those in favor that the bill be read second time, say aye. Against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clerks is invited to read long title of the bill.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act provide for establishment of Federal Medical Center Bali, Taraba State, and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to Committee on Health Institutions. The seventh order of the day is a motion on the committal of the Federal University of Technology, Auchi, Establishment Bill, and the Defense Research and Development Bureau Establishment Bill, standing in the name of Abubakar Hassan Flata. Honorable Flata is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I am Abubakar Hassan Flata. I represent Borneo Askrika Samaguri Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, recommittal of Federal University of Technology, Auchi, Establishment Bill, and Defense Research and Development Bureau Establishment Bill. House notes that the Federal University of Technology Auchi Establishment Bill and Defense Research and Development Bureau Establishment Bill were passed by the National Assembly and transmitted to the President for assent. Observes that some fundamental issues which require fresh legislative action by the National Assembly emerged after a critical analysis of the bills by the Presidency. Cognizant of the need to recommit the bills to address the fundamental areas raised in the bills, House resolves to rescind its decision on the bills as passed and recommit same to the Committee of the Whole for reconsideration. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder. Yes. Zamfara.
Respected colleague, my name remains Honorable Shehu Ahmed, a member representing Marubungudu Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Zamfara State. I rise to second a motion raised by my respected colleague. I so second.
In favor of the motion, say aye. Against, say nay. The ayes have it. Respected colleagues, the eighth order of the day is a motion on need to investigate reported cases of victimization and anti-labor activities in the News Agency of Nigeria, standing the name of Honorable Babatunde Ayeni. Honorable Ayeni invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Honorable Lawrence Babatunde Ayeni. I represent Ilesha West, Ilesha East, Atakumosa West, Atakumosa East, Osun State. I rise to make the motion on the need to investigate reported cases of victimization and anti-labor activities in the new agencies of Nigeria. The House notes that public establishments are under obligation to comply with the extant provision in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, which granted the freedom of association and to hold an opinion. Concerned that the current situation in the News Agency of Nigeria, NAN, a public institution saddled with the responsibility of disseminating government activities, has been overwhelmed by politics in terms of staff promotion. Aware that a set of workers who are not due to promote have over the years been elevated to various higher office in breach of the process and the provision of Section 7, subsection 020702 of the Public Service Rules, PSR 1. Also concerned that some staff enjoy double promotion within 1 year, contrary to the provision of Section 7B and C of the Public Service Rules, PSR, and Part 4, subsection 10, 17, 18, 19, and 24 of the Public Service Rules, as each relate to appointments, provision, and discipline issued by Federal Civil Service of the Federation. Observe that fallout of illegal promotion has impacted negatively on the morale, loyalty, and the commitment of the hundreds of staff who have been shortchanged by choice of patriotic sects. Worried that despite the involvement and the mandatory effort by the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment, the Federal Ministry of Information and the Culture, and Nigeria Labour Congress, and the Nigeria Union for Journalists, Council and FCT NUJ, the senior staff of NAN, who are hell-bent of victimizing their contemporaries who are union. Leaders arbitrarily suspended the LUJ chairman in contravention of all known conventions and labor practice in the country. Also worried by the violent attitude of the senior staff who have abused their exalted position to intimidate, harass, and frustrate the NUJ executive member, especially the chairman, by way of posting him out without formal notice and suspending him while on an approved annual leave, contrary to Section 9, subsection 6A and B of the Labor Act 2004 and Section 40 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Aware that the senior NAN officers resolved to post the NUJ chairman out of Abuja to where one of the beneficiaries of the illegal promotion hailed from, thereby posing threats to the NUJ chairman life and subjecting him and his family to emotional, physiologically, and financial distress. Disturbed that the action
of the senior staff who are allegedly involved in this inglorious and also contravened the agreement reached by the NAN management and union on the 27th July 2018, where the NAN management agreed never to victimize any union leader and member as a result of labor struggle in the agency. The stuff that the managing director and editor-in-chief of new agencies of Nigeria has been laid back in its duty to ensure its right environment for non-workers during the disturbing labor crisis. Result: 1. All the news agencies of Nigeria to immediately recall the affected NUJ chairman from Plateau State to the headquarters where he has served meticulously pending the conclusion of the investigation. 2. Also urge the managing director for NAN and the editor-in-chief to ensure immediate payment of all outstanding amounts to the NUJ chairman, NAN SATA, and ensure that he is not victimized any further. Third one, set up an ad hoc committee to investigate the anti-labor action in the news agency of Nigeria and other allegations relating to illegal promotion in the past 5 years and recover all benefits that might have been enjoyed by the allies, as well as the recommend necessary sanction for anyone find culprit and report back within the 4 weeks for the further legislative action.
Thank you, colleagues. This is a very straightforward motion, but you recall the position of leadership in terms of, you can take a second, Alabi, in terms of putting up ad hoc committees. We resolved that we should always allow committees statutory with those facilities to carry out that will help us. That will be the area that I will sort to ask for the amendment so that we carry out our own, resolve ourselves and ensure it is happening. Yes, sir. I've not gotten a seconder before if you want to amend, there has to be a seconder, then we can amend. But I'm just drawing the attention of the House regarding our own resolution as to what should happen. Okay, you want to contribute? You want to contribute on the motion? Thank you. As an activist, former activist. Yes, sir. Honorable, yes, sir. Not yet. Seconder first. I've gotten one. I've gotten. Honorable Balarabi, my brother from Lagos is asking me why am I recognizing him? Yes, sir. No, you have seconded?
Yes, I'm seconding.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Shehu Balarabi is my name. I represent Bruningwari Giwa Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, my highly respected colleagues, I'm from Kaduna State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion heavily moved by my friend, colleague, and brother, Honorable Abatunde Lawrence. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Are you sure the motion was moved by Honorable Babatunde? Thank you. You want to throw more light or you yield the floor to? Yes, sir. You say you wanted to contribute. You want to.
Mr. Speaker, I am Comrade Peter Ohiozuji practicing MNI. I represent Akukweru people. Mr. Speaker, I am from Edo State. Mr. Speaker, I am very concerned about some of the issues that were raised in this motion, because they have become very disturbing issues in our system. Oftentimes, Mr. Speaker, you see constituents will come to you and they say there's recruitment going on somewhere. You try to investigate to hear there's no recruitment going on. But when you dig deeper, you discover that some sort of recruitment took place in such organization. Sometimes they call it replacement. And in the name of replacement, you see 50, 100 people coming into an organization. Oftentimes, these are special people. In no time, these people are posted to choice places. Also, this same set of people would be the first to get promoted, as against the rules of the organization. This has become a very disturbing, phenomenon in our public sector. For that reason, I feel so concerned that we should actually take very seriously the motion that our brother has brought to the fore today. Also, the issue of bias promotion is a very disturbing development. I don't know about the rest of you. Oftentimes, constituents come to me to talk about promotion. People complain about being on the same job for 10 years, doing the job the same way or even better than certain people are doing it. And the people who just came into the system, in no time, they get accelerated promotion. This is quite demoralizing, it's discouraging, and can lead to continuous decline in productivity, because a disenchanted and an unhappy worker is a hazard to the work environment. And when somebody deserves promotion and is denied promotion, and those who do not deserve promotion as he or she does, are promoted in his or her presence, I don't know how we expect such worker to be productive and to be a safe worker. It is a very serious issue. And I think that as a result of that, we have to look deeply into these issues and do thorough investigation. And I think that we should expand the scope, if possible, to ensure that everywhere we find such malpractices, such persons are brought to book. Until we begin to deal ruthlessly with this kind of situation, we will continue to be under undue pressure to go and start fighting for promotion for our constituents in organization, whereas ordinarily they deserve to be promoted. Mr. Speaker and my dear colleagues, this is a very serious issue. Also, we spoke about some strike actions in the country recently, including that of the university workers. When the doctors were on strike, we condemned strike actions, and people blame them for going on strike. But oftentimes, people don't know the underlying factors. When there are agreements, and employers, whether public or private employer, violates such agreements, it calls for action. And in most cases, when they try negotiating, when they try consulting, and those strategies fail, they resort to strike action. And strike actions have very serious consequences, on the system. For instance, if the university, workers are on strike, our children suffer. The Nigerian children suffer. But they can't stop going on strike when government will not respect agreements and when employers will not respect agreements. Most disturbing is the fact that in this motion, we also have the case of victimization. It's very annoying for employers to decide to victimize the leader of the workers simply because it led them to make a case for the people. If there is improper promotion, the union should fight it. If there is stagnation of people who deserve to be promoted, the union should fight for their people, because that's why they were put in place in the first place. And if that happens, you begin to do illegal transfers, victimizing people, sending people out of where they have been working, not because you just want them to go and do better job where they are going to. You are not doing vertical transfer where they will have to move from one level to the other. You transfer them horizontally, and in some cases demote them. It is demoralizing, and we must fight to make sure that this does not happen again. On the strength of that, Mr. Speaker, I want to appeal, sir. I have told my colleague, many might not be happy about this. The truth of the matter is that a serious case like this requires unique approach. We can single out this particular one, and make it an ad hoc committee assignment.
So our committee is not serious.
The committees are very serious, sir. The committees are very serious. When you have a unique situation like this, you have to approach it in a unique way. I want to appeal, sir, that it should be given to an ad hoc committee that will be properly, constituted to deal with this issue critically, because there are so many issues that are found here. There is illegal recruitment here. Hold on, sir. Hold on, sir. I appealed to you before I started. Why you defense like this? There is illegal recruitment, illegal transfer. Okay, transfer for the purpose of victimization. It might not be illegal, but it's vindictive. There is also the issue of violation of agreements. These are things that we have to take in a single pot and address at the same time because of the depth and seriousness of this issue. Mr. Speaker, that is my appeal and that's my conclusion.
Thank you. As an activist, of course, former labor person, I believe that every person should get his own justice when it comes to infringement of his own fundamental right, and then things done not according to law, victimization should not be tolerated. But we just finished motions today on the floor of the House accusing other agencies of not doing their job statutorily. You have a committee standing with a particular mandate, and if I should roll out the number of ad hoc committees that we have today, I will tell you for free, 95% of those ad hoc committees don't turn in reports. Should we continue to do things the same way without getting resolved? Give to the committee. If they are unable to discharge, it will be more indicting to discharge them of that responsibility and get an ad hoc committee than to give an ad hoc committee and later discharge them to get back to committees. It is quite serious. I don't agree. The right of one person matters a lot. No, this is the resolution and resolve of the leadership. And we have communicated severally. The list, I had to ask for the list. Fulata is close to you. And I will tell you, I said 95% have not turned in their report. I do not think that is right. We would rather be, again, putting what we are looking for, the justice at stake for the person. And I will beg that with the question, but with amendment, based on the position of leadership, it has to go to the relevant committees. If you want to make it more, bring in the agency under which is information and national orientation to work alongside, but the lead committee should be labor and productivity, because this is our own responsibility. Thank you. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's a bit. Respected colleagues, the ninth order of the day is constitutional report on the Committee on Finance on the request by the President of for the revision of 2022 fiscal framework. All members recall that the report was laid on Tuesday, 12 April 2022. Honorable James Faleke will move for his consideration. Honorable Faleke is on the floor.
Speaker, honorable colleagues, Honorable Faleke is not on the floor, and I had a discussion with the Chairman of Appropriation that this item 9 on the order paper is stepped down by the leave of the House.
Item 9, constitutional report on the request by the President stepped down by the leave of the House. Respected colleagues, the 10th order of the day is constitution of a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Environmental Technology, Koroma, Sepema, Sekmoa, Tai Ogoni, and for later matters, all members recall the bill was committed to Committee of the Whole on Tuesday, 5th April 2022. The leader will move for his consideration. Well, leader, I've been told to step down this report because the report is not quite comprehensively put. So we need further legislative action. So rather you move for the stepping down of the consideration of the particular report.
Mr. Speaker, and my dear colleagues, permit me to move that a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Environmental Technology, Koroma, Sak, Panwa, Tai Ogoni, and for related matter HB 1925 from Senate be stepped down for further legislative action. Mr.
Consideration of report stepped down by the leave of the House. The 11th order of the day is resumption of consideration of the report of the Committee on Science and Technology on the bill for an act to establish National Institute of Oil and Gas Technology and Entrepreneurial Studies, EGBEMA, Imo State, and to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration, provide for detailed identification of areas in oil and gas technology and skills acquisition, entrepreneurial studies, and for related matters. Only members recall that on Wednesday, 9 March 2022, the House in the Committee of the Whole considered and approved clauses 1 to 3 and deferred further consideration of the report on a very large move for the resumption of the consideration.
May I move, Mr. Chair, that the House do consider the reports of the Committee on Science and Technology on a bill for an act to establish the National Institute of Oil and Gas Technology and Entrepreneurial Studies, EGBEMA, Imo State, and to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration, provide for detailed identification of areas in oil and gas technology and skills acquisition, entrepreneurial studies, and for related matters, and approve the recommendations therein. I so move, Mr. Chair.
Seconder, Ali.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Respected colleagues, Ali Mohammed Abdul Momin is my name. I represent Nasarawa Toto Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion, heavily moved by your colleagues. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against any, that's have it. The 12th order of the day is constitutional report of the Committee on Science and Technology on a bill for an act to establish Chartered Institute of Digital Forensics of Nigeria and for related matters. All members recall the report was laid on Wednesday, 26 January 2022 on a very large move for its consideration.
Plantain North and South Federal Constituency. Mr. Chair, may I move that the House do consider the report of the Committee on Science and Technology on a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Digital Forensics of Nigeria and for related matters, and approve the recommendations therein. I so move.
Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable members, my name is Honorable Barrister Abubakar Yerima Idris. I represent Kikapune. I'm from Yobe State. I rise to conduct the House. You consider the report of the House Committee on Science and Technology. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against any, that's have it. The 13th order of the day is consideration of report of the Committee on Health Institutions on a bill for an act to establish the Federal College of Medical Laboratory Science and Technology, JOS, and to provide for the courses leading to award of diploma and certificates in medical, laboratory technology, and related matters. Ordinary members will recall that the report was laid on Wednesday, 2nd February 2022. Honorable Pascal Obi will move for his consideration.
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Pascal Obi is not on the floor. I move that unless his deputy is present to take up the matter, the consideration of this report be stepped down by the leader of the House. I so move.
Well, the ruling from the chair is that this is an institution that I know have been in existence for more than decades. And they have trained personalities that are today manning even the COVID-19, what's it called, the other agency that has to do with it, and a lot of more Nigerians that I know from that graduated from that institution. But they don't have the legal instrument for their own working, and this is important. In the event is unavailably absent, at the next sitting, I want to believe we should do the constitution regardless of, so that we do not make the country suffer unnecessarily. Thank you. Yes, sir. You move for the stepping down. It has been moved, but we will take the report at the next sitting. Thank you. Move for the House to resolve into committee of the whole consider report.
Mr. Speaker, am I allowed to make a comment on this issue before I read the...
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, I think it's painful and very disheartening that on a number of occasions, bills that relate to health matters surface on the floors of this House because of the perpetual absence of a certain chairman. These bills are not attended to. And a lot of our constituents out there are watching carefully. Most of them have challenged their representatives, the bills that, were supposed to favor their people, including those that involve the establishment of critical agencies in their places, are not getting the desired attention. And this has, continued for quite a long time. It's so annoying. And I think that an action should be taken to ensure that members and their constituents don't continue to suffer, because of the absence of the chairman of the committee. Mr. Speaker, I so suggest strongly.
Attendance to the chairman, because if the chairman is absent, deputy should be available. So it's not just the chairman, but we'll relate, and I believe leadership will do something about it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Having said that, Mr. Speaker and my dear colleagues, I would like to move that this House do resolve to committee of the whole to consider reports. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Deputy Whip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I rise to second the motion assembly moved by the House Leader. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's it. Deputy Minority Leader, welcome. The House is here, but it's going to committee to consider reports. Respected colleagues, the first report to be considered that Committee on Science and Technology on Bill for an Act to establish National Institute of Oil and Gas Technology and Environmental Studies, EGBEMA, Imo State, and to make comprehensive provision for its due management and administration, provide for detailed identification of areas in oil and gas, technology and skills acquisition, entrepreneurial studies, and political matters. And I invite the Honorable Lad to give the snaps, because at least resumption, maybe to brief us of what you have done in terms of the work that was assigned to you by the Committee of the Whole.
Universities, and we did that. So we just adopted what was given to us by the legal department. Thank you.
Thank you. Clause 4, Clause 5, Clause 6, Clause 7, Clause 8, 9, 10, 11, Clause 13, after 11. Clause 12. Clause 13. I wanted to know whether we are actually following. Clause 15, 14, 15, Clause 16, Clause 17, Clause 18, Clause 19, Clause 20, 21, the schedules. Thank you. Respected colleagues, the second report to be considered is that of Committee on Science and Technology on a bill for an act to establish Chartered Institute of Digital Forensic of Nigeria and for related matters. I now invite Honorable Benila to give the synopsis of the report.
To establish a body to be known as the Chartered Institute of Digital Forensics. The committee held a public hearing on this, and we sat down and came up with a report. We just give them the powers to regulate the practice of digital forensics, because as you know, it's very important now in evidence, in tendering evidence in a court of law, whether we can accept digital digital evidence. And so the science of digital forensics is very important, because there has to be certain standards and knowledge that will be applied to this profession. The standards have to be kept. So in collaboration with the Office of the National Security Advisor and other security bodies, we have come up, the Institute came up with this bill, and we also, the committee, in conjunction with the Institute, have sat down with the Committee on Rules and Business to make sure that we're on the same page, because several committees, defense and everyone, had some views that were accommodated. So this bill has been worked and reworked internally by the committee before it's presented. So as of the House...
My prayer, Chairman, is that this bill is not in conflict, because I know Forensic Institute has been one very thorny bill before the floor of the House from the last assembly to date, counter and counter. Maybe my praise I have taken, because now we are defining computer. On the long title here is different from what is being read there.
Computer is also part of it. You cannot have digital forensics without computers. It goes hand in hand.
No, the long title on the original bill, no computer.
It says Institute of Computer Forensics of Nigeria. That's what it says. A report for a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Computer Forensics.
That is what you have. Yes. What I have is different, and means then my own is the most correct one. What I have is that is to establish Chartered Institute of Digital Forensic of Nigeria. That's what I have. That's what I'm saying. That is different.
Actually,
it means
what-
then the tooling. What the original?
What we want is the word digital so that computer will fall under digital. It will be all encompassing. I believe. This is the recommendation. The committee recommends digital forensics instead of just Chartered Institute.
Thank you. And this is what we are trying to avoid. Because it's an area that I don't know what, during a public hearing, what came of it. Because they amended the long title. And if you amended the long title, it's another sort of controversy. My sister.
Okay, so maybe we go back and...
Better. So that we avoid areas of conflict. My brother, that's the corrective. I'm saying because I know as deputy leader that I know that the quantum of meeting we have had on this
Even though this was what we came up with when the Committee of Rules and Business and our committee came.
Please retool it again. Or let me advise, look at the other ones that we have passed. Compare with what you have, so we will avoid areas of conflict.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Step down for further consideration. Consideration for legislative action. Thank you. Yes, sir. South.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My dear colleagues, Comrade Peter Ohionzuje Akpatasin, MNI. I move that this committee revert to plenary to report progress. Mr. Chair, I so move.
Alex.
Thank you, man.
I'm not seeing you.
Speaker. It's blocking me. They try me. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Maybe because they're not standing.
My name is Dr. My name is Dr. Alex Sekunda. I have a second report as moved by my leader. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's it. House is hereby to invite plenary to report progress. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole consider the report of the Committee on Science and Technology on the bill for an act to establish National Institute of Oil and Gas Technology and Environmental Studies, EBEMA, Imo State, and to make comprehensive provision for its due management and administration, provide for detailed identification of areas in oil and gas technology and skills acquisition, entrepreneurial studies, and for these matters, resume consideration and approve clauses 4 to 21, the schedules, the long title, and the explanatory memoranda of the report. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole consider the report of the Committee on Science and Technology on a bill for an act to establish a Chartered Institute of Digital Forensic of Nigeria and for these matters, and step down consideration for further legislative action. Leader, move for the adoption of the report.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Comrade Peter Ohionzuje Akpatasin, MNI, I move that the House do adopt the reports of the committee as presented by Mr. Speaker. So
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Kiruka Onyejocha. I represent the good people of Isuatu Federal Constituency. I'm from Abia State. I rise to second the motion as heavily moved by the House Leader. So second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's it. colleagues, just a reminder, on notice of interactive meeting between the smallest group in the House of Representatives and distinguished Senator Bala Mohammed, Executive Governor of Bauchi State, today at 9:30 p.m. Number 50, Devoto Crescent. All members of the smallest group are invited to note.
Smallest group.
Point of order. What is your point of order?
My name is Toby Okechukwu. I represent an area of Gojira Federal Council from Enugu State. Mr. Speaker, it is our request.
No, he's coming. He has just introduced himself, so allow him to learn.
Yes, it is our request that you give the letter to the House leader to read it out. Because I don't know which one is the smallest group.
Okay.
When we are making reference to PDP, yeah, we are meeting this evening at 50 Lobito Crescent. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I believe PDP stands the smallest group. Okay, you are competing with ABGA. I forgot. Sorry. So ABGA may be the smallest group. We are the second to the smallest group. Thank you.
We are not as factionalized as you are.
No. I say ABGA.
Okay. What of those you are state chairman? Are they up to 92 still?
In which state?
Yeah, the 92 elected state party chairman.
In which party do you have that?
APC.
No, we don't have such a problem. That was the anticipation.
Have you settled on
that was the anticipation. But we have come out stronger than we were.
Well, after some first consensus.
Thank you. And I think you should try, and when you are meeting, please, for the sake of my brother Sajos, make appeal to Edo, to citizens to accommodate some of them. Thank you.
Edo is at peace.
I don't know. Colleagues, we still have another reminder from Honorable Muhammad Ali Udil, reminding members of the Committee on the Harmonization of the Federal Medical Centers Bill, taking place at 3, the meeting very soon. Muhammad Ali Udil as Chairman, Honorable Oluga Taiwo Olikemi as member, Honorable Shelia Haruna as member, Honorable Pascal Obi member, Honorable Henry Okon Achibong member, and Dachum Musa Bagos as member. Also a reminder to the largest caucus of the House of Representatives of Nigeria, by the grace of God, of iftar with the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. A very, very rare privilege, and I encourage members to attend. Thank you very much.
When are you constituting your board of trustees?
Well, go and read our constitution.
Your board of trustees.
I said, go and read our constitution.
After 8 years, you can't constitute it.
Thank you. Time, I believe it's 6:45. Thank you. Leader, move for the adjournment of the House. Pardon? 6:30. Thank you. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, dear colleagues, I am Comrade Peter Ohiozoje Akpatasin, MNI. I represent the good people of Akoko Edo Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Edo State. I move that this House do adjourn to
Flatter.
Thursday, the 14th. Okay.
To Thursday. Yes. Manuchi Leader.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I'm not asking you to second, but to approach the alongside with him. Yes, sir. Approach the chair. Respected colleagues, you are quite very much aware that we're approaching Easter and our Christian brothers need to travel, I believe, to the constituency. And so, and you are aware is only the House of Representatives within the two chambers that are sitting 3 times a day. We still intend to continue to give our best services. But because we want to be sensitive to our brothers, we want to have the sitting of tomorrow just to consider a few items so that our colleagues can have the opportunity to travel out. So we'll start our deliberation tomorrow as from 10 a.m. so that we'll dispense what is on the order paper early enough to allow our brothers travel for their festivity. Thank you very much. So the adjournment time is 10 a.m. Thank you. And clerk communicate in the various platforms and all our platforms that adjournment today is tomorrow is for 10 a.m. And the order paper will be very, very light. Very light. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, Comrade Peter Ohiozoje Akpatasin, MNI. I represent Akoko Edo Federal Constituency. I am from Edo State. Mr. Speaker, I move that this House do adjourn to Thursday, the 14th of April by 10 a.m. dot. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Whip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Kiruka Onyejocha. I represent the good people of Isukwatu Federal Constituency. I'm from Abia State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the House do adjourn tomorrow 10 a.m. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. Let's have it. Honorable Balarabe, I hope you are conscious of the picture they have snapped to post where you are. House is hereby adjourned to tomorrow 10 a.m.